All right, we are live. What's going on, guys? We got a lot to talk about here. 11 game slate. There's a lot of injury news to go over, so let's not waste any time. Let's just go to Fantasy Labs and go over what we know so far. So let me scroll back to the beginning of the day really quick. Okay. So yeah, obviously huge news here, right? Udonis hasn't rolled out. No, I don't even know why they had to announce that, but let's see. So Hassan Whiteside will play, and he's one of like 4 or 5 centers that I really like today. You got Towns at the top end, you got Whiteside and Bam, and as well as now Jarrett Allen in the mid range with no DeAndre Jordan, and then you got Cantor and possibly Tony Bradley if Gobert misses. So there's a lot of different centers I really like today. I really think the two center approach is definitely the way to go. Again, the reason I'm on Cantor is because Daniel Tice got ruled out. So there's just a lot of minutes to go around there. Tice is playing like 20 to 30 minutes a game, somewhere in that range. So my best guess is they split it with him and Robert Williams. Malcolm Brogdon will not have a minutes limit on Draftkings. I think he's probably one of the best plays of the day there at 6K. It's just way too cheap. Cam Reddish won't have a minutes limit. That's not super important. Don't really think I have to go there. Hawk starters here. Magic starters, that's what we expected. Again, DeAndre Jordan, that news just came out. So Jarrett Allen now becomes very much viable as a center option. And that's kind of it. So let's get to the over-unders and spreads of these games. I might have to refresh this, actually. Hold on. I don't know if refreshed from last night. Okay, so Nets Cavs sitting at 218.5 with the Cavs favored by 2. Grizzlies Pacers at 217 with the Pacers favored by 10. Magic Pistons 206.5 with the Pistons favored by 4.5 points. Hornets Heats at 212.5 with the Heat favored by 11. Timberwolves Hawks at 236.5 with the T-Wolves favored by 4. 76ers Raptors at 212.5 with the 76ers favored by 2. Kings Celtics is at 206 with the Celtics favored by 7. Trailblazers Bulls 226 with the Trailblazers favored by 1.5. The Jazz and the Bucks is sitting at 223 with the Bucks favored by 8. Lakers Spurs at 225.5 with Lakers favored by 5. And Thunder Golden State is at 212.5 with OKC favored by 6.5 points. But yeah, before we get into the prices, if you guys are enjoying the content, would really appreciate if you guys hit that like button. It helps me out. Obviously, I'm just putting out all free content this year. So yeah, if you guys enjoy the videos, enjoy the live streams, would really appreciate if you guys could hit that like button. But yeah, let's go team by team here. And we got 11 games, we got a lot to talk about, and then we'll get to questions at the end. So we'll start with Memphis. Memphis is in a tougher spot here. Honestly, not a whole lot I really like. Basically a cross-off. Like if I was going to play a guy, it would be John Morant just because the minutes have been up on him. But on this slate, I think there's probably better plays in his price range. So really, Memphis kind of a cross-off. It's John Morant if I was going to play anyone, but not super excited about that. On the Indiana side, you guys know my love for Sabonis. I still think, even with everyone healthy, he's a little bit underpriced here at 8.1K. It's a really good matchup here against Memphis. In a close game, he's going to play 35 or so minutes. So yeah, like I said, I think he's still a little bit underpriced, even playing alongside all the healthy starters. So I'm still considering him very much there at 8.1. Turner at 6.1 is okay, but I just like other centers. There's a lot of really good center plays today. Aaron Holiday, definitely not with Brogdon back. Now, Brogdon obviously is one of the best plays of the slate here at 6K. I think in cash games, you just eat the chalk. Even for GPPs, honestly, he's just way too underpriced. In a close game, he's going to play 32 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and it's a really good spot. So, again, I think he's a really, really safe play with a bit of upside. Lamb and Turner or Lamb and TJ Warren are okay, but how much Pacers exposure do you want in an 11-game slate? I'm kind of limiting it to Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis. On the Orlando side, honestly, not a whole lot I like either. Isaac's okay, but he's priced way up, like 8K. Probably not for me. Fournier's been really good, but a tougher matchup, and I don't want to pay premium for him. The bigs, not in this slate. I think there's better value, right? We got Cantor value if he starts. We got Brad Wanamaker. We got possibly Tony Bradley. So there are some other better value plays in my opinion, like Birch, Bamba, Wes and Wundo. I just don't think we have to do it. Aminu, probably not for me. If I was going to take a shot on one, it probably would be Mo Bamba. I think he has the most upside, but only played 21 minutes in the last game. So On the Orlando side, not a whole lot I'm liking. On the Detroit side, kind of the same thing too with everyone healthy. Drummond, Blake Griffin will be the targets if I was going to play anyone. But again, I think that I like plays in other games more. So there's just not a whole lot to like with a fully healthy Detroit. This game in general is kind of a stay away. Now we get to the Brooklyn side. So originally it was kind of Dinwiddie and that's it here at 7.6K. But now with no DeAndre Jordan, I think Jarrett Allen gets some more minutes. So Dinwiddie obviously here at 7.6K, I still think is a really solid play. I think he's a bit underpriced. He's going to play 35 minutes in a close game. So definitely still like Dinwiddie. Jarrett Allen now becomes in play for sure in my center group. Again, it's Towns at the top range. I like Bam and Whiteside. Now Jarrett Allen in the mid range, and then Cantor and possibly Tony Bradley if Gobert misses. Jarrett Allen, I think in that one game DeAndre Jordan missed, he played like low to mid 30s minutes, I want to say, if I recall. So he becomes a really solid play here. If he stays out of foul trouble, again, I think he probably gets low to mid 30s minutes. And at 6.1K, that's 200 price right now. The secondary pieces, not super high on. If I was going to play a guy, I think it would be Taurean Prince. Right now, again, I'm still kind of messing with my lineup. But right now, he is the last guy in my lineup just because I needed a 5.2K forward and I didn't feel great about anyone else. So Taurean Prince, I know he's been a bit up and down. Hopefully he can get that high end. Again, I don't feel super great about it, but he is the last guy in my lineup as of right now. But that's kind of it. Again, it's Dinwiddie, it's Jarrett Allen. I think Taurean Prince is okay. On the Cleveland side, we still haven't got Kevin Love news yet. I was expected to play. Okay, so that's definitely a hit to Larry Nance. I think he's out of play. Tristan Thompson, I'll probably pass to. Again, I like other centers more. I think the only guy I would consider would be Kevin Love in a good spot here against Brooklyn, but on this slate, don't think we have to do it. So Cavs, kind of a stay away from me, even in a good spot. Philly, Toronto, this is another game that I just don't have a whole lot of interest in. Like, if I was going to play a couple guys, I think it would be Embiid and Ben Simmons. Again, it's a tough spot, but the price tags, 8.8 and 7.3K, seem underpriced. But on this 11-game slate, I don't know if I'm going to get to him for a one-lineup guy. Now, if you're making multiple lineups, you can consider him for sure. But, it's kind of a pass, too, on the Philly side. On the Toronto side, more of the same, right? Like, I think Siakam and Fred VanVleet would be the guys I would consider, but it's a really tough spot. So probably a pass. Now we move on to Charlotte, Miami. This is a pretty tough spot for Charlotte, so I don't have a whole lot of interest here. If I was going to play a guy, I think it would be Rozier there at 6.2K. But again, Miami's been really, really solid defensively, so don't even think we have to go there in this slate. Now on the Miami side, there's a couple pretty interesting plays here. I like Bam a good amount. He's one of the mid-tier centers I do like. It's just, are you going to play him over Whiteside? Are you going to play him over now Jarrett Allen? It's a close call, right? It's something I'm still deciding on too. I love his upside here. The only downside, in my opinion, is the potential blowout. I think it's like 11-point spread. But if this game stays close, I really think Bam could crush Jimmy too at 7.7K. He seems a little bit underpriced. Again, the only downside is the blowout, potential blowout. And then I like Goran Dragic a decent amount here too at 5.1K. He's been playing 25 to 30-ish minutes. It's a pretty good spot, and I think he's a bit underpriced. So there is a good amount that I do like on the Miami side. The only concern here is the potential blowout, but Bam, Jimmy, and Dragic are the guys I'm really looking at. Now we move on to Sacramento. So Bogdan was questionable, but I think he's probable now, so I think he's going to be good to go. They kind of limited his minutes in that last game against Washington, only played 28, right? I really liked him, but they did limit his minutes. If he would have played like mid-30s minutes, he would have crushed it. So there is some concern. It is a back-to-back and the hamstring injury. I don't mind him as a tournament option, but for me as a one-lineup guy, don't think I could go there. Healed with Bogdanovich healthy, I'll probably pass. Now, Rashawn Holmes is interesting here at 6.2K because we got no Daniel Tice, probably going to be going up against Enes Kanter for a decent amount, or Robert Williams. Neither are great defenders, so Holmes could have a pretty good game here at 6.2K. So, yeah, I think he's probably would be my favorite Sacramento King, him or Bogdan. But no, again, no one really stands off as a great play. Now we get to the Boston side where I do like a lot. Boston, normally a team in DFS that I kind of stay away from, but with no Kemba and with no Gordon Hayward, and now with no Daniel Tice as well. That's not updating. He is out. there is a lot of minutes and usage to go around. So we'll start with Kemba being out, right? With him out, now Tatum, Brown, and Marcus Smart get a big boost. Now, with those three, I'm definitely going to prefer Brown and Tatum for a bit more over Smart, just because I like the upside a bit more on them. I'm not saying Smart's out of play. I would just prefer Brown and Tatum to them. And I like both those guys a decent amount here. Again, a lot of minutes and usage to go around. Tatum, Brown seem like really, really solid plays there at 6.8 and 6.9K. Again, Marcus Smart's okay. And then Brad Wanamaker, my best guess is he's going to start at point guard at 4.3K. I think he probably gets low 30s minutes. And at this price right now, I think he's one of the top value plays of the slate. So do really like him. And then Cantor and Robert Williams. I don't think we've got the starting lineup yet for Boston. But Daniel Tice was a guy that was playing, like 25-ish on average minutes a game. So those minutes have to go to somewhere. I really think it's Cantor and Robert Williams. I mean, they could use, I guess, a little bit of Semi Ojeleye, but that's just so gross. Hopefully this kind of split the minutes with Cantor and Wanamaker. Let me check Fantasy Labs again, see if we got any more news. Let's see. Larry Nance. Oh, wait. Kevin Love got ruled out? Oh, wait. He just got ruled out. Okay. So that kind of changes things. I don't know why Draftkings was saying Kevin Love was probable. So I'm going to go back to that. Is expected to play Monday. Okay, well that's literally fake news. But yeah, no Kevin Love. So now I think Larry Nance is viable here at 5.7K. I don't think he's the best play, but I think he's a pretty solid play at 5.7K. Again, right, he's not the great value, but I think he probably gets low 30s minutes in a good spot. So he's viable. I think Tristan Thompson's viable now too, but am I going to play Tristan Thompson over some of those other centers? I don't think I will. I think Tristan Thompson's still a solid play, but I still don't think I'm going to play him over some of those other centers. But now back to Boston. So yeah, Cantor, Robert Williams. I think obviously Cantor would be the preferred target. I hope he starts because if he comes out the bench, I think there's a way that Brad Stevens can still somehow limit his minutes, right? Like maybe gives a decent amount to Robert Williams, then maybe a little bit to Semi Ojeleye. Like you never really know with Brad Stevens. He does like rotating a lot of guys in, so that would be a slight concern if Cantor doesn't start. If Cantor starts like he did in that game against Washington, he played 25 minutes. I think we probably get a more of the same. And at 3.7K, I think he'd be one of the best value plays in the day. So, yeah, there's a lot to like here for Boston. Probably my favorite team right now to target on the slate. Then we get to the game, the highest over-under, and you're also going to want some interest in this game. Minnesota, Atlanta, sitting at 236.5. So Towns at the top end, no issue at all. I think he has huge upside. Again, it's just a tough decision with, some of the centers tonight. There's Towns, there's Bam, there's Whiteside, there's now Jarrett Allen, there's Cantor, and there's Tony Bradley. So there's a lot of different ways you can go, and I have no issue with any of those guys. I like them all. So if you feel comfortable with some of the other value guys and getting Towns in there, no complaints. I think he has huge upside. Wiggins at 7.6K, I think is just a GPP play. I think I prefer those Boston Wings for a little bit less. I know it's a really good spot here for Wiggins, and he does have upside, but I just don't know if I'm going to go there on this slate. Teague, I think, is still decent here at 6.3K just because of the minutes. 33, 36, 34, and 33 minutes. It is a revenge game, too, against Atlanta, so I think he's still very much in play there at 6.3K. Don't mind Covington, but probably not for me. So that's really it. It's Towns at the top. Don't hate Wiggins. I kind of like Teague, and that's kind of my interest there for Minnesota. It's a really good spot here. We move on to Atlanta. So I think it's Trae Young season, boys. At 9.8K, I know that's a lot, but I rearranged my lineup to get him in there. Now, this is only for GPPs. I would not go there for cash. Again, I've been playing like all GPPs this year. Normally, I kind of am a cash game player, but for some reason, I've just been sticking to GPPs this year. And Trae Young at 9.8K in a over-under of 236.5 in a really good spot. I like his upside for GPPs. Again, I would not go there if you're playing cash games. There's safer options. But Trae Young, I think he has 60s, maybe even 70 fantasy point upside in this matchup. So I do like his upside a good amount. Again, not a cash game play. Jabari Parker at 6.3K is solid, right? The minutes have been a bit up and down on him, 27, 21, 29. If he gets into like the 30s in a good spot, I think he's very solid. So yeah, don't have an issue with Jabari if you want to go there at 6.3K. The secondary pieces, probably not for me with Cam Reddish back. Like Hunter has been good, Bembry priced up, I'll pass. So really, it's Trae Young and it's Jabari there for the Atlanta side. Utah and Milwaukee, so the big question mark here is still Gobert. And this is another situation, kind of what we saw, what was it, Friday or Saturday or Sunday? I forget, where we had a lot of the injury news in the late games. So it made some of those like value guys really low owned. Like Tony Bradley the other night was super low owned just because we didn't get that news until later. And this could be more of the same. So if you want to take that risk and bank on Gobert being out, I think Tony Bradley and even Jeff Green will be really solid value plays. But I don't know if we'll get that before lock. So you got to ask yourself, do you want to take that risk? It's up to you. Again, if Gobert misses, love Tony Bradley. I think Jeff Green's a pretty solid play. If Gobert plays, I think it's probably a pass for me on the Jazz. Like Donovan Mitchell's okay, but he's kind of priced up. Don't know if I would play Gobert like other center spots. So that's really it for Utah. I think it's only if Gobert misses, then I really like Bradley, and I think Jeff Green is viable there for 4K. If we look to Milwaukee here, so still no Chris Middleton. We also got George Hill ruled out, so those minutes have to go somewhere. He wasn't playing huge minutes, and again, Milwaukee has a lot of guys they can use. Like maybe Bledsoe picks up a few more minutes. They could run Connaughton, Korver. They just have a lot of guys, so I don't think that does a lot for me, honestly, with George Hill missing. Giannis as a contrarian spend up, don't hate the idea at 11.8K. He's going to be probably sub 5% owned, but again, me as a one lineup guy, it's not for me. So this Milwaukee team against the Jazz, kind of a pass. Again, George Hill news doesn't really affect me too much. On the Portland side, Lillard and McCollum are okay in a decent spot, but don't know if I want to go there on the slate. I think my main target is Hassan Whiteside at 6.1. We want to target bigs against Chicago. The concern here is the hip injury. And sometimes if you watch Portland games, Whiteside will just take plays off. He comes off as a lazy player. But if we get that aggressive Hassan Whiteside, man, he could crush. He's kind of like a Jokic, right? Like Jokic, the last game against Phoenix, just kind of took a back seat and let other guys do their thing. And it's frustrating to watch sometimes. And that's kind of the same with Whiteside. Like some games, he'll be super aggressive and he'll just crush it. And other games, he'll just look kind of like he's lazy and doesn't really care. So I think there's a little bit of risk. But man, if we get that aggressive Whiteside, I think 40, even 50 fantasy points is not out of question. So I do like him a good amount there as a center play. But again, if you don't want to go there, I don't have an issue because there's a lot of other viable centers. Scal, complete pass. Melo, not for me. These value guys, I'll pass. There's better options. So really for me, it's Whiteside, and that's it on the Portland side. Chicago, Levine, I really liked him the game before there. He put up 60 fantasy points. Now he's priced up. It's still a good spot, but do you want to pay a premium for him? I think he's okay, but again, I think there's probably better options on this slate. Wendell Carter Jr. is intriguing at 6.5K, but I think I like other spots more, especially centers in that price range, right? Like Jared Allen, Whiteside, Bam Adebayo, and similar price ranges. I like their upside more than Wendell Carter Jr. Don't hate it if you want to go there, but again, I think I prefer other plays. Markkanen, I get it if you want to buy low. Don't hate the idea, right? He's been really bad back-to-back games, and you're getting him at a really low price. I think if he plays well, probably gets 30 minutes. So I get it if you want to go there, but probably not for me on this slate. And that's kind of it. Like Kobe White is a GPP option. If he's playing well, we'll give him the minutes. If he's not, they won't. So yeah, only for GPPs there. Satoransky, I don't know if I want to do it. Shaq Harrison will remain in the starting lineup, but the minutes went way down in him to 14. I don't know if we can trust it. So yeah, that's really it for me on the Chicago side. Let's move on to the Lakers and the Spurs. So this is pretty simple for me on the Lakers side. It's LeBron and AD at the top. No issue with either. They're both in pretty good spots. I think I prefer Anthony Davis for $1,500 less. And yeah, I think he's got 50, 60 fantasy point upside. The only concern with him is it's Anthony Davis. He's made of glass. There's always a decent chance he leaves the game with injury. So just take that to note. Rondo, also like there, 5.2K. I think he goes very low owned, but I think he probably gets 25 minutes, and it's a really good spot. So I think Rondo is playable here at 5.2K, but that's really it. Don't think we have to consider the bigs like KCP, Danny Green, I'll pass, Kuzma, okay, but I think there's probably better options. So it's the top two guys if you feel comfortable there. I like Rondo in the mid-range, and that's really it. On the Spurs side, Not a whole lot to be excited about, in my opinion. It's a bad matchup for them. What were DeJounte Murray's minutes last game? He played 23 again. It's just, you're never going to get more than like 23, 24 minutes from him. I mean, if you want to go Aldridge or DeRozan, you can, but I think I like spots in other games. So I think those guys are just okay. Not my favorite spots, and that's really it. The Spurs in general, just never a team I get super excited about. Last game here, we got OKC and Golden State. So this is another game we're waiting on injury news with Draymond Green, right? Chris Paul, SGA, Gallinari, Steven Adams, Schroeder, I think are all solid in a good spot. I think my favorite play would be Dennis Schroeder for GPPs, just because he's going to come off the bench and play close to 30 minutes, and we know he's going to be aggressive. So don't know if he's a cash game play, but for GPPs, I do like his upside in a really good spot. I don't have any complaints with Adams, Gallinari, SGA, Chris Paul. I think they're all pretty solid plays in a good spot. I think probably one or two of those guys have a pretty big game. So yeah, I'm not like super really high on these guys, but I'm not low on them either. These would be guys I would definitely consider in the late slate, which I'd probably play. But in the main slate, if you're making one lineup, I don't know. I just think they're okay plays. So I think my favorite one would be Dennis Schroeder as a GPP option. And then finally, Golden State. So again, the big news here is Draymond Green. If Draymond Green plays, I don't really have interest in anyone besides maybe Alec Burks. And if Draymond plays, is not going to be limited. I think he's a really solid play there at 5.6K, but we're probably not going to get that news until way later, right? This is the late night hammer by 2 hours. So that's another situation where, do you want to take a shot and hope that Draymond misses and play the Golden State value guys? You could, but again, it's a risk. If Draymond Green misses, now that's a different story. Then I like Bowman and I think Burks. I think Bowman and Burks would be my favorite plays, just because those guys are kind of the main catalyst in the offense. Bowman played 36 minutes in the last game. Now it is a tougher spot against OKC, but again, it would be an 8-man rotation. I think guys like Chris Spellman and Cauley Stein you could consider. I think Cauley Stein would probably be my favorite big. But yeah, that's really it for the Golden State side. So let me check Twitter here one more time, Fantasy Labs, and then we can. Hassan Whiteside will start. Okay, so that's good news. Rudy Gobert, game time decision. Cool. Again, I don't think we'll get that until after lock. But yeah, give me 1 sec here. Let me confirm my lineup is good, and then we can get into it. All right. So let's get to some questions here. We're over 100 viewers. Again, if you guys enjoy the content, would really appreciate it. Hit that like button. It really helps me out, putting out all this free content for you guys. But let's get to some questions here. So I like Lamb over Brogdon. That's a contrarian play for sure. Brogdon, is going to be super, super popular. I don't hate that pivot, really. It's an interesting GPP pivot. I don't know if I would do it for cash games, but it's an interesting pivot just because the ownership is going to be so low on Lamb and so high on Brogdon that if Brogdon busts somehow or maybe gets injured again, then you're going to be in great shape. So Warren or Nance cash, I would go Nance there just because he fills up the stat sheet. Warren is more of a scoring-dependent guy, so definitely Nance for a cash game in my opinion. Any news on who's starting for Boston at center? We haven't got it yet. What's your thoughts on this, DK? Paul, Schroeder, James, Robert Williams, Bam, Reddish, Holmes, Allen. I appreciate your work. I like hearing your feedback and opinion. I like having potentially 4 bigs. Yeah, so I think that's solid. That's more contrarian. I don't think that's a cash game lineup because Chris Paul and Schroeder, definitely more for GPPs. Those guys are going to be low owned. I think LeBron's going to be low owned too. So that's a really, really, on the risky side lineup, but I don't hate it, right? All those guys have upside. Robert Williams, he's going to be very low owned compared to Cantor, in my opinion, so don't hate that pivot. I love the upside in Bam. Reddish, I'm not super high on him, to be honest. What's his price? He's 3.9. It's a good spot. I get it if you want to go there. Yeah, I guess I don't hate that play. Holmes, yeah. Again, he's going to be low owned, and Jarrett Allen. So you got some low-owned guys there, but all are in pretty solid spots. So again, I would not do that for cash games, but I think it is an interesting GPP lineup. Bad to have 4 Celtics in cash. I think you can do 4. I think 3 is probably. I think you can do 4 because you're probably playing what? You're probably playing Cantor, Brown, Tatum, and Wanamaker is my best guess, right? And all 4 of those guys are pretty solid. 4 seems like a little bit. Maybe only go 3. I don't know. 4 is pushing it, but I understand it. There's a lot of good spots there for the Boston guys. What other guards would you take at Levine's value? Well, I will tell you in one sec. Levine's what, 7.5? See, in that range though, okay, so Dinwiddie for sure. Dinwiddie 100% over Levine for a little bit more. And then, honestly, I don't like a whole lot in this range. Wiggins is viable too. As much as I hate to say it, I'm not a Wiggins guy, but he's been great. Don't mind John Morant. Ben Simmons okay. So I think my preferred target there would be Dinwiddie, though. How is Jefferson in play at all, or has the price gotten too high? It's gotten too high, and in this slate, I just don't think we have to do it. He's been solid, right? He is 5.3K. It's a tough spot, and there's just not enough meat on the bone for me. So, yeah, I don't think we have to do that. Cash guard in the 4.5 to 5.5K range, not Wana. Okay, so not Wanamaker, 4.5 to 5.5K. Let's see. So start at 5.5. When we go to guard, that would probably help. There's really not a whole lot I like here. Yeah, that's pretty tough. I think Goran Dragic, even though he's coming off the bench at that price, I think it is pretty safe, right? He hasn't had like below 20 fantasy points in a long time, and it's a really good spot. So probably Dragic. I don't mind Rondo either. I think those two would be the cash game plays. Schroeder for GPPs, but there's not a whole lot I like in that price range. Coach Stott said something weird about Whiteside. Check Twitter. Okay, let me check. Do you know what he said about him? Like, was it he's going to limit him or something? Let me see. Can you tag me on that in Twitter? I don't see the weird Whiteside news. Are you playing Holmes? I am not, but I get it if you want to go there. I think he's a little bit underpriced. Drummond, I think there's better center spots in my opinion. I like, again, it's Towns at the top. It's Bam, Whiteside, and Jarrett Allen in the mid-range, and then Cantor and possibly Tony Bradley. Yeah, Cantor, Wanamaker, Brown, Tatum. Yeah, so I actually think you can do that for cash. How many Celtics do I have in my lineup? I have 3, I believe. Yeah, I have 3 right now. I have Wanamaker, Brown, and Cantor. So I think you can play 4 in cash. I take that back. I do think you can do it. What do you mean GPP in cash? So GPP are for tournaments, and cash games are like 50-50. So in cash games, you don't care about ownership. You just play the best plays and don't care. GPPs, you play more riskier guys that have a lower floor but a high ceiling. And I got to refresh here because it's saying unable to connect to chat. So give me 1 second, guys. All right. Let's see. Robert Williams and Myers seem intriguing. GPPs, tournaments, and cash double ups. Yep. Yeah. Again, I think Cantor's gonna eat up all that ownership. Though I don't hate Robert Williams. Bam or Sabonis. Well, it depends, right? Like, what are your other centers? There's a lot of good center spots, so I think I would go Bam there if you're just picking between the two, but I really like both those guys. And I currently don't have Bam in my lineup, and I do have Sabonis, but that's just because I have other centers. So it's a really close call. Best value scrub tonight, I think Wanamaker or Cantor. Cantor if he starts. So Wanamaker, Cantor, and then Tony Bradley if Rudy Gobert is out. Those would be my 3 favorite value plays. Brogdon or Paul, GPP. I know Brogdon's going to be so popular, but I still think you go Brogdon there. Larry Nance, I think Larry Nance is very viable now. I actually got to make a tweet about that for those people who can't. Who aren't in the live stream. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. You like Prince? So, like I said, he is the last guy in my lineup just because I had 5.2K at the forward spot and I don't have a whole lot of other options I can go to. Like, it's him, it's TJ Warren, it's Clarkson, like Brandon Clark, Glenn Robinson. There's not a whole lot I like, so he's the last guy in my lineup. I don't feel great about it. I just got to hope he gets me like 25 to 30. Clarkson, Prince, or Melo. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm in the situation too, and I have Taurean Prince. So, I think it's Taurean Prince there. Thompson or Allen for center. That's close. That's really close. I'm going to take Jarrett Allen, but it's close. Any interest in Murray for San Antonio? Just as a GPP dart throw, again, he's going to play at most 24 minutes. Can you post your player pool? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to have enough time to because it's only 13 minutes until lock. People are asking about. Oh, Terry Stott says Hassan Whiteside will start tonight, though he said he might be an early sub depending on how he looks, feels. All right, well, thank you for tagging me in that. I think I'm off Whiteside now. I got to switch around my lineup because that worries me. I know he can still get you there, but just that fact, that does, I can't talk. That does worry me with Whiteside. I still think he's unplayable for GPPs, but yeah, that quote right there is not good, at least in my opinion. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to get a player pool. So now I can actually rearrange my lineup and get Taurean Prince out of there. Just get another center in. Let's see. TT or Bam. I'm going to go Bam, but it's close. Now I'll probably try and get Bam in there. Yeah, I don't think I can get Towns. The issue is then, All right. Set the Whiteside news. Thank you. I appreciate that. What do you think of CD Osman tonight? With no Kevin Love, I think he's okay. What's his price? He's at 4.6. It's a good spot. Yeah, I think he's playable for sure. T coming off the bench. Wait, really? Yeah, Bort Whiteside. I don't think we have to. Take the shot now. Yeah, Jeff Teague coming out the bench. Okay. So now I'm off Teague. That is interesting to say the least, for sure. So let me. There was a video on Draymond Green's status. So Steve Kerr thinks Draymond is going to play. Late slate, 4,200 left for utility. Let me tell you. And then I might have to mess around with my lineup for like a minute or two just because we've got 10 minutes to lock. Well, the late slate, it's kind of hard to say. It's probably, late slate's these two games, right? Utility. I guess Jordan Poole. There's really not a whole lot of options there, and I don't know what the late slate is either. Like if it's more than those two games. So sorry if I can't answer that question fully. Why no Prince now stepped away? What did I miss? Well, I'm pivoting off Prince now because Whiteside, the news about Whiteside. That does scare me a good amount. So don't know if I'm going to go there now with with him. And yeah, now I might try and get Towns in. I don't know. It's a tricky thing I got to mess with. Can you give an example of a GPP guy tonight instead of a cash game play? Like you can explain to the players. Yeah. So perfect example is Trae Young. I think Trae Young is very up. He's up and down, right? He's in a good spot. Like 28 that last game, 64 the game before, or 64 last game, 28 before that. So he's very up and down, but his ceiling is pretty high. So that's why he's more suited for GPPs. While a guy like Wanamaker or Brogdon are going to be so popular because they're honestly underpriced in their spots. So that's why Brogdon is just more of a cash game play because everyone's going to be on him. I think he's a really, really good play. Wiggins starting point guard. Yes, that's a boost to Wiggins too. That is a good point. DiVincenzo, don't think we have to do it. Prince cash viable. I think he's viable. Let's see, Nance or Bielitsa. I'm going to go Nance there. Derrick Rose for GPP. Probably not for me. Brogdon or Smart. Definitely Brogdon. Towns or Trae Young. Why not both? But it depends. Towns or Trae. I think Towns is the safer option. If you're going cash, Towns. If you're going GPP, Trae Young. I'm honestly, I might try and get both in there now. 4K left at forward. 4K at forward. Let's see. Well, I would definitely go Jeff Green if Gobert misses. But if he doesn't, there's literally nothing I like here. I mean, Jordan Poole if Draymond misses, but it's sounding like Draymond's going to play now. Whew. Yeah, there's what's Myers Leonard's minutes been like? Way down, right? I don't even think you play anyone in that range. I mean, Robert Williams at 3.3, right? I think he gets more minutes. So I think he's a viable option for sure if you want to pay down that much. Damian Jones is actually a solid defender. I might disagree with that statement. I don't think he's that good of a defender, but to be honest, I haven't watched a whole lot of Hawks games this year. Culver or Reddish, not super high in either. I guess Culver with Covington back, I'll probably go Reddish, I guess. With Lamb, Brogdon, Miles back, is Sabonis a fade at 8K? I don't think he's a fade. I don't know if I'm going to play him now because I might try and jam in Towns and Trae Young for my GPP line. SGA or Jaylen Brown, have Tatum and Wanamaker. For cash games, I think you just play Jaylen Brown. You play those Celtics. For GPP, I'd go SGA. Adebayo over TT. I'm going to go Adebayo. I'm going to go Bam over TT, yeah. Adams and Levine or Cantor and Wiggins. I'll go Cantor and Wiggins there. Damian Jones is a terrible defender last night. Connaughton with George Hill out for 4K. I guess. But again, it's a bad spot. Milwaukee has a lot of guys to use. Atlanta defensive rating with him is like 115, 120. Larry Nance, Lamb, or Hunter. I'll go Larry Nance there. It's a good spot for Cleveland. And yeah, I think Nance probably gets low 30s minutes like we've been seeing. So again, he's not a super great value, but I think he's a solid option there. But yeah, with Draymond now most likely playing, Trae Young or Cat. So again, it's my same thing. I currently just rearranged my lineup to get both in there. I think it's Cat for cash games, and I think it's Trae Young for GPPs. You like a white SGA? Laugh my ass off. Wait, are we talking about Derek White? I don't think we have to go Derek White. SGA? I don't know. I don't know what that means. So I'm trying to respond to people on Twitter too. Shea Gildas, I think. Yeah, yeah. No, I know SGA is Shea Gildas Alexander, but you like a white SGA. That's why I was like, wait, what? RG protection trade for 25% ownership. Interesting. I don't think he's going to get 25%. I definitely don't. I think Trae Young goes pretty low owned. Rudy Gobert, a game time decision. Again, he's warming up now. So if Rudy Gobert is warming up, I think that's probably a decent shot that he plays. That's just, again, me guessing. But I would say now it's more likely he plays than doesn't if he's warming up. Nance and Thompson for DK cash. I don't know if you play both. I think you play one. I don't know if I would play both. I guess you could, but yeah, that's pushing. I think you probably only play one there. It's because Wanamaker and Cantor, so people are going more stars than scrubs. That is true. That's a very good point, Dan. I think that's going to make Towns more popular, and that's going to somewhat make Trae Young more popular. But I don't know. Are people going to go with like Anthony Davis or Trae Young? Anthony Davis, I think, is in a really good spot too. So, yeah, it's tricky for sure. Gallinari, Spellman, or Glenn Robinson, Cauley Stein. With Draymond playing, I'm not. I guess give me Glenn and Cauley Stein there. Gay or Anunoby. Not super high in either, but I'll take Rudy Gay just because they probably need him to guard LeBron a decent amount. AD or Towns and cash. I think I'll go Towns there, but I like both. AD only protected for 13%. I'm way overweight on him. That's probably a pretty good idea. If Anthony Davis is going to be 13%, I would have some definite interest in there. Anyone over Wanamaker, only 4,300 left. No, I think Wanamaker's your best bet for cash games. And then I think Cantor is a pretty solid option. Don't hate Robert Williams as a pivot. Now it's looking like Gobert might play, so that kind of takes Tony Bradley out of there. Rondo or Schroeder. Rondo's minutes been going up. I think Rondo for cash, Schroeder for GPPs. Melo or Culver. I guess Melo. I don't feel great about that, though. Cash, Brogdon, Smart, Wiggins, Nance, Allen, Kobe White, Tatum, Parker. So I have no issue with that besides Kobe White, just because if he's playing well, we'll get the minutes. If he's not, they won't. So I don't necessarily know if he's a cash game play. And 17. Okay, we locked. Yep, GPP, Young, Wanamaker, Robinson, Prince, Towns, Burks, Gallinari, Cantor. No issue with that. Yeah, good luck, man. If Draymond doesn't play, Spellman will get 25 plus minutes, right? But we just saw that video. I don't know if you saw on Fantasy Labs. Oh, Rudy Gobert ruled out. Wow. Well, now I got to change some things out. So now I think Tony Bradley is probably the best value play of the slate. And then I really like Jeff Green as well. So So now we got to do some rearranging, boys. All right. Fun stuff. And some guys are locked in, too, so I can't do a whole lot of great rearranging. Get Bradley in for cash? I think so now. I think Tony Bradley, well, I mean, you got Cantor, too, so... Thank you, good sir. Yeah, of course, man. Gobert ruled out as lineups locked. Yeah, of course. And they said he was warming up too. So my best guess was he was playing. Okay. Yeah, I just did a little 2v2 swap that I'm pretty happy with. So I think I will take that. If you guys are wondering, I swapped out Towns and Robert Williams to get Anthony Davis and Tony Bradley. So that was my 2v2 swap. I really think Tony Bradley is, he's up there as one of the best value plays of the day for sure. And then Jeff Green is very viable as well. Thank you, good sir. Brogdon, 64%, the $8. Wow. Yeah, I knew he was going to be really popular. Coach Schneider plays DFS. And like I said, too, this is going to lower the ownership on Tony Bradley because some guys probably have guys locked and they can't really pivot or they don't want to move their lineup around. So take that in consideration. I don't think Tony Bradley's going to be that high owned now. And I really think he's a really, really solid option there. So yeah. Brogdon, 93% cash. Yeah, I figured that. I mean, I think he was the best play of the day, in my opinion. One of the best at that price. I love Jared Allen too much tonight to get off for TB. That's fair. That's fair for sure. Again, I like Jared Allen too. Brogdon, 93%. Line up 30 minutes before lock, my ass. This is why I think they should lock 15 minutes after the game actually starts. Yeah, I agree because the games always start for like 15 minutes late too. Jarrett Allen, 11% cash. Yeah, I think I thought he'd be a little bit higher owned, but that means people are probably going with Cantor, the cheaper. I think people are going more stars than scrubs. I think a lot of people are going Cantor and Karl Anthony Towns now. It's going to be Prince season. Don't hate it. Again, he was the last guy in my lineup originally, but I switched it up. Would you move off Cantor to Bradley? That's like a coin flip for me. I'm playing both right now. So I really think if Cantor starts, he's a really solid value play. And I'm guessing Bradley starts. So that's like a coin flip, really. I have both in. Would you swap out Cantor or Wanamaker for Bradley? I'm playing all three. So that's a tough call. I think you just go with your gut there. I think Cantor, the minutes might be a little bit less secure for him just because Boston does like using other guys. They have Robert Williams, maybe Semi Ojeleye gets minutes. I think Tony Bradley, if he stays out of foul trouble, probably gets 25 minutes. I don't think they're going to use Jeff Green a whole lot at center. I mean, they will use him a decent amount. I think Wanamaker's pretty safe, so I'll let you make that call. Like I said, I have all three of those guys in my lineup. DK, I appreciate all the insights. I feel bad for you trying to get all the info and trying to do your own lineup at the same time. You're a DFS Jedi Master. I really appreciate that, man. It's a little tricky for sure, but I've been doing this now for a little bit, so I'm kind of used to it. Wiggins starting a point, good cash play. It's hard for me to say Wiggins is a good cash play, but I get it if you want to go there, especially starting a point. I think he's very much in play. But yeah, I think I am going to hop off here, guys. We only got a 2-game slate tomorrow. I'm still gonna make a video for it. Again, probably be a shorter one just because it's only 2 games. I will not be live streaming for that one. I'm actually gonna be on my way back to Michigan for to go home for Thanksgiving. But yeah, I will have a video up for that 2-game slate later tonight. I want YOLO with Mo Bamba at center and FanDuel, hopefully for somewhere between 20 and 25 points. I mean, I think that's just a GPP play, but I don't hate the idea there. I think if he plays well, maybe it's 25 minutes, right? He played 21 the last game, so that's just a low-owned play that I don't hate as a GPP option. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off here, guys. So again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's really important. I will keep you guys updated with my thoughts as we get news throughout the day. We're really not waiting on much else besides the confirmation on whether or not Draymond's gonna play. Again, that video I watched sounds like he is gonna play, so I do like Draymond at that price. But yeah, like I said, I'll be back for another video for that Tuesday slate. I'll have that up later tonight. So thanks again for coming to check out the stream, and I will see you guys later.